All right, I'm just cutting that short. Sorry about that, Matt. Apparently we had some technical difficulty with the sound there. Um, but going right into it, looking at his picks that we know he had a second overall. Let's actually just go. Will he repeat as champ? I voted no for simple fact of how hard it is to win back-to-back championship in the LOC. I don't think anybody's ever done it. Commissioner, do you know?
No, nobody's ever done it. Nobody's ever been a two-time champ. So, we got a lot of great owners that are champs now. And I think, it could be any year now that we see the first two-time champ. But I also voted no. I just thought Bills Mafia had too many concerns in terms of looking at, Chris Godwin's injury history. I know his roster that we posted there has probably changed a little bit since the draft. I made this video obviously before the draft. So just throwing that one out there. And kind of unique because we get to see who Matt and Bills Mafia already picked. And, one of the offseason questions was draft capital and defensive upgrades. And you can see, obviously, he tried to attack the defense with some of his picks. But really, the lack of draft capital hurt him. And I don't think he really added too much talent in this year's draft. Your thoughts?
Yeah, so actually, my favorite pick of his entire draft class is the 8th rounder, Abram Smith, going to New Orleans. I think the guy might have a chance to pick up some at least in the first 6 games for the Saints there. Johnny let's be honest, he's already off of his team. He's been traded a 3rd round pick for basically a 3rd round and a 4th round. However, what people aren't realizing is Jelani Smith only has 44 catches in his entire college career. He is a converted quarterback. And going into the 3rd round next year, there's players going in the 3rd round next year that probably would have went in the early 2nd round this year. So giving up that draft capital for a 3rd round and a 4th round for players who would have went in the 2nd round this year is mind-boggling to me. Unless you're super high on Jelani Woods. I mean, the dude's 6'7", but he's going to be an inline blocker, in my opinion. He might. I honestly would try to convert him to a left tackle, right tackle, just because how damn big he is. But the dude's quick. I think he ran a 4.7 40-yard dash. But he's unproven. He's raw talent. He might take 2, 3, 4 years to even get going. And you gave up draft capital in a draft that guys in the 3rd round would have went 2nd round this year. I think it's a no-brainer. It's a great trade for Bills Mafia, and everybody should know my thoughts by now on that one.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. It's one of those things where Curly Lamborghini got all this draft capital, and we just talked about it in Deuce's preview about, don't get too, generous with that draft capital because it can hurt you in the end. And, Curly Lamborghini, I thought overpaid for him as well. For Matt, it's really going to come down to, is Josh Allen and Matthew Stafford in those high-powered offenses again like they were last year? All last year I was talking about how he was a contender because of the quarterbacks. Lo and behold, he won the championship. We'll see if it's the same this time around. Again, Stafford already hurt, I think, or coming back from an injury, and the guy always seems to be hurt. But I think Josh Allen for sure will be top 3 again. But I don't see him repeating. But I did notice that his division has seemed to have gotten a lot easier now that Curly and Cash and my Belichick's, I guess you could say, are really low-end teams. He will have to contend with new owner Deuce Bombers, who's done a lot with that team, Brian's old team. So I think it's going to be a battle in the division between him and Deuce Bombers. And whoever wins that division, obviously, I think has a chance to contend.
And just going on that point of anybody can beat anybody any week. Well, I mean, we had our points for, and I think in every league except LOD, lose in the first round because I'm pretty sure Matt was the points for. So one week where your team does bad in playoffs, you're out.